I start with a white base and I've got to peel off around the edges. I'm just waiting for it to dry. As you can see, I've still got white spots. When it's completely dry, it'll be clear. I want to start with a white base coat because the top coat is going to be a mix of pink and white, and you always want to have your lighter colour on the bottom. So I'm going to take out all my nail polishes. I'm going to unscrew the lid of each one. It doesn't matter how many nail polishes you have. I just got a pack of 5 different pinks and a whitish sort of sparkly one. So I'm just going to take all the lids off those so that they're ready to use really quickly, because I don't want them drying out when I start using them too much. Again, you can use any colour you want. I've done a purple and like a tealy colour. They do work better when they're sort of the same shade, so I'm using all sort of pastels here. If you can go from darker to lighter, so you can use a black and a red. And then I'm just going to brush them up onto a makeup sponge. You can do this as messy as you want. It doesn't have to be perfect, and it's actually better if it's not perfect. So I'm just going in with each colour from lightest to darkest for this one, and I'm going to overlap them. The makeup sponge is going to suck up a bit of the nail polish. So I'm going to do 2 coats. Coats on the sponge after this normally only need 1 per application, so I'll go from the sponge, I'll do once over and then apply to my nail. But for the first time, just because it soaks up that first layer, I will do 2 coats before applying it to my nail. Then I'm just going to go in and dab it all over my nail. Again, you get to be as messy as you want here. The more it mixes, the better you've got of it just blending and looking ombre. You don't want that streaky line coming straight across, otherwise I would be using a different method and I'd be using tape or something like that. So I'm just going in again. I'm going to do this on every single finger on all my hands. I like to do 1 coat of each because if it starts to dry on your nail and you go in just as it's drying, it gives you these little blobby spots on it. So I'm just going to do 1 coat on the sponge across every single nail, and then by then, because it's quite a thin, it will be dry enough for me to go in with a 2nd coat over every single finger. I also like to hold down my finger. So I'll like squeeze the sides down so that I can get into those creases. So after I've done the 2 coats, I'll just go through every single finger again and just make sure I've got all those creases. If any fingers, sometimes my thumbs especially because they're so big, the nail bed is so big, I'll go in with a 3rd coat. And if you want it darker, if you're not liking the colour, you can go in again. And this is the end result. It looks really messy. I haven't taken off that peel around the outside, and I don't need to just yet. I'm just going to let it dry a little bit first, and then I'm going to go in with tweezers and I'm just going to peel it off. So I like to start from like the very tip because my nail moves, or my fingers move I should say, and that's where it makes it really easy to just come off and peel it off. I then just put it aside and keep going with that so I can peel it off. You can also use your fingers for this, like you don't have to use tweezers. It's just that it can wreck your manicure that you've already got going on the hand that you're using to peel with. So once it's all peeled off, it sort of looks like this. It's still a bit messy, so I will go in and I'll use like a cotton tip and some acetone or nail polish remover. You can see I've got some on my skin as well where I didn't go up high enough. And then that's all done. I'll do a clear coat over the top as well so it looks all nice and shiny. Let it all completely dry, and that's why it looks all so nice and like professional. The clear coat does so much, it does so well to it. It makes it look like it's a gel top coat, but it really isn't.